Hi, I'm Ellie Boad, and today I'm going to be proposing a brand extension for Topshop, which is called SWOPSHOP. So the North Star behind this concept is for Topshop to become a market leader in sustainable retail by implementing a resale marketplace within the brand's current and established infrastructure. This incentive aims to provide a feasible alternative to Topshop's consumers' excessive overconsumption by driving a more circular economy and discouraging the throwaway culture of fast fashion. From a brand's perspective, this will allow Topshop to accelerate their industry transition into sustainable retail by re-evaluating their business model and appealing to a new generation of conscious consumers. So as you can see from this diagram, SWOPSHOP works in a circular process, and I'm just going to run you through each stage, highlighting how it works. So as you can see, a consumer will purchase a dress from Topshop at full retail price of £40. They'll wear it out once, document it on social media, of course, and then they decide that they don't really need it anymore. It will sit in their wardrobe for the next 6 months unworn. So through word of mouth recommendation or via social media, this customer may hear about SWOPSHOP and decide to upload their item on there. So they will register, and using the online photography procedure, they can upload the item for a marked down price of 50%. So as you can see, the dress is now uploaded for £20, and once it's sold, it will get shipped straight to SWOPSHOP HQ, for quality control and to be quarantined, which is really critical in the current retail environment. It will then be sent directly to the buyer, and the revenue from this sale will be uploaded straight to the seller's SWOPSHOP account, which can be redeemed either in-store or online off their next Topshop purchase. So I hope that all made sense. On the next slide, you're going to see a video, just a bit more of an informational video that can be used either on social media or in store, just to further explain this concept to customers. So I hope from watching that, you've got a really clear idea of how SWOPSHOP works and the idea behind this concept. So a macro analysis was conducted to gauge a better insight into the industry and to assess how SWOPSHOP will be performing in the current landscape. So as a result of COVID-19, there are irreversible and unprecedented effects on the industry. 33% of consumers are finding themselves financially squeezed as a result of the outbreak, with less disposable income, and this has made them more mindful about their consumption. Another effect is growing concerns of climate change that has forced people to be more aware of their waste, especially during this time of reflection. And this is why secondhand retail is becoming a more attractive option to both consumers and to businesses. So prior to the outbreak, secondhand retail was already one of the fastest business growing sectors, growing at 20 times faster rate than traditional retail. And it's projected to reach 51 billion by 2023. Another undeniable effect of this pandemic is the digital acceleration, which has forced so many brands to reshape their entire business models and focus on digital revenue. E-commerce purchases have increased by 160% this year alone, which will really show how SWOPSHOP can utilise these online platforms. So as an analysis of the brand, Topshop is currently a mass market retailer that focuses on fleeting trends over timeless designs, and this results in producing vast amounts of inexpensive clothing. Although it's clear they have been putting some measures in place to shrink their carbon footprint, none of them apply to the resource-intensive manufacturing process. And this is where SWOPSHOP will really come into place. So as it stands, Topshop are a member of the Better Cotton Initiative, which helps to produce cotton in a more sustainable manner. They also released 2 initiatives such as the Vegan Shoe Range and the Considered Collection, which are both concepts that use eco-friendly and recycled materials in a way to reduce their environmental impacts. However, with 500 stores across the globe, it's clear Topshop is still one of the UK's biggest fast fashion players, and their business model is inherently unsustainable. So this is why SWOPSHOP is so key for this business to really become even more environmentally friendly. An Instagram poll was conducted as a baseline analysis of the industry to gain the knowledge, opinions, and behaviours of Gen Z and millennial consumer groups. It was also used to establish whether there was a market demand for a resale platform such as Topshop. So 226 responses were collected in 24 hours, which helped create really engaged and highly relevant quantitative data that will support my strategic decisions. As you can see from the graphs, 88% of respondents said that they were more likely to purchase a second-hand item if they could physically see it in store, tangibly testing that merchandise. So that showed me that a need for an in-store presence was so key for SWOPSHOP. And also, when asked what price markdown would you expect to see on a pre-loved item, over half of consumers said that they would look for 50% discount on pre-loved items, which would also really show how much the SWOPSHOP would need to mark down their products in order for it to be financially viable. It's also worth mentioning that this poll sampled an age group of 16 to 30-year-olds, which is reflective of Topshop's clientele, and therefore is a valid piece of research. Secondly, an interview was conducted with industry experts Siobhan Forey and Anne Secunda, the CEO at Arcadia and the Managing Director of Wallace & Evans. And this was an invaluable piece of research as it helped to explore Topshop as a brand in further detail and also discuss the commercial viability of launching SWOPSHOP as a brand extension. So as you can see from the word cloud, I've visually pulled out keywords from the transcript just to highlight the areas which were discussed. But one of the most influential findings was the need to maintain Topshop's customer promise. And they would do this by introducing the quality control system within SWOPSHOP. And that will really differentiate it from other resale marketplaces that are currently available. So Anne suggested including a rating or a review system to further motivate customers to maintain this certain standard and quality of items so that they will be further resold. So following the research, I was able to collaborate findings into a SWOT analysis to highlight the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of SWOPSHOP as a concept and also Topshop currently. So therefore, I can confidently say that there is an opportunity for a resale market in Topshop's infrastructure. It really brings the brand back to its heritage of key high quality items, but brings about more of a vintage feel that you could get from the Kate Moss collections and their old celebrity collaborations. So SWOPSHOP will target 3 main consumer segments. First, we've got the one-time wearers, and these are those individuals that dress to impress and enjoy the social party lifestyle. And due to the throwaway culture of this segment, customers are likely to wear an item once, post it on social media and discard it soon after. So therefore, SWOPSHOP will appeal to this segment by providing a reliable and accessible platform where they can sell on their unwanted goods. Then we have the environmental prioritizers, and these are consumers that have strong beliefs regarding sustainability. They're reluctant to waste clothing and prefer to use other methods such as upcycling or recycling. Therefore, SWOPSHOP's business model will provide a waste-less solution for the environmental prioritizers. And then lastly, you can see we've got the value seekers. And these are customers that are motivated by cheap and convenient options. So SWOPSHOP will target this section by providing quality assured Topshop clothing at a heavily discounted rate. So hence, these customers will feel like they're getting a bargain or good value for money. As you can see by each of the pie charts, here are the motivational drivers that will influence each segment to fulfill a purchase. So in terms of the diffusion of innovation theory, the UK resale market is currently entering into the early majority, where a large segment are aware of resale, but only a small proportion have actually moved forward and fulfilled the purchase. So therefore, SWOPSHOP aims to push resale over the peak of diffusion so that it enters into the mainstream. And they will do this by having the connection with Topshop as a brand, as it will help communicate the simplicity of secondhand resale through the mouthpiece of such a reputable and accessible brand. I use Porter's 5 forces theory to analyse the key competitive threats that will have an effect on SWOPSHOP. So as you can see, the primary competitors are the fast fashion retailers, such as your H&Ms, your Zaras. And this will work as, you can see Topshop is already one of the least sustainable brands in the industry at the mid to low price range. I see that SWOPSHOP will help Topshop to penetrate the gap in the market as showed, as it will bring them a whole stage above all other competitors because they've introduced this circular business model. And secondly, we've got the competition of established resale platforms such as Depop and ASOS Marketplace. And this is a bit more tricky because it's a whole new market that Topshop need to penetrate. However, I see them fitting in amongst these brands, providing fashionable items at a reasonable price point, but also just bringing a whole new sustainable aspect to the brand. So as proven by the success of Depop and other websites, a website is no longer the only essential platform for a resale launch. So I've chose an app as a main communication strategy. As you can see, the customer will be introduced to a loading page where they can click through and see products. They will also be able to access reviews of sellers to help with consumer confidence, and this will lead to a higher conversion rate of sales. They will then also be able to go back to the product, and if they choose to purchase, the sale will automatically be uploaded onto the seller's credit and they can redeem that in store. Other pages on the app will include a how it works, as shown, and this just again communicates the simplicity and the benefits behind SWOPSHOP. And other pages like FAQs will help to add to the professionality of the app. To make this an omni-channel communication strategy, SWOPSHOP will also have a website and an Instagram shop. And omni-channel strategies help to retain 89% of consumers by providing various revenue streams and increasing profitability. This will also ensure that there's various customer touch points that will, again, lead them on to fulfilling that purchase. So a year after SWOPSHOP's online launch, it will also launch in-store in the flagship. And I chose the flagship because it generates the most worldwide footfall over any other Topshop store. So as you can see from the CAD drawing, this launch will take place in the boutique section of the flagship store. And the plan was made with accurate measurements from this section. The layout was really considered with social distancing measures in mind, as this is obviously so relevant in the current retail landscape. So all rails were set at 1 metre apart. Essentially, the store launch will act as a physical incarnation of the online service. And as you can see from the mood board, it really helped me to visualise the aesthetic of the interior of the launch. I wanted to establish a juxtaposition between industrial elements, such as fixtures and fittings, as well as a subtle nod to sustainability, just with the leaves and the environmental elements. So as you can see, experiential retail is a rising trend, with 59% of consumers expecting more from their shopping. So therefore, I've included the 3 following integrated experiences, which will help keep customers in store for longer. So firstly, we've got the drop-off point, as you can see from the visual, and this will encourage customers to bring in their pre-loved items to store and also then sign up to the SWOPSHOP account. So it will help with customer acquisition, but also help to build up that inventory of stock in store. Then items can be tagged up and put on the shelf, and they'll have a differentiation from the mainline stock. We also have the Instagram background, which helps capitalize on the social media generation of consumers that share everything online. So this will help to provide basically free marketing for SWOPSHOP, as it's user-generated content that can be reposted on SWOPSHOP sites. And so that will just gain recognition for the brand. And then finally, we've got the digital showroom, which is essentially an interactive screen in store, which links together the app and the physical presence, acting as an element of phygital retail, which is an upcoming trend. So as you can see from the mood board, SWOPSHOP's brand identity will highly represent the environmental nature of its launch. And using colour semiotics, I chose greens and beiges and earthy tones just to reinforce this impact. All of the materials and packaging will be recyclable, biodegradable and eco-friendly, as far as the hangers in store will be wooden instead of plastic. And this just reinforces the environmental credentials. So as part of SWOPSHOP's marketing strategy, it will launch a pre-launch event in Dalloway Terrace, London. And the aim of this event is to generate hype and prime the audience for its launch. It will be a sociable event that will be attended by Topshop's alumni, of influencers, VIP customers and press to provide coverage of the launch. And they'll be motivated to cover this on their social media. According to Albacross, influencer marketing delivers 11 times return on investment over all other forms of digital marketing. The launch will also provide the opportunity for SWOPSHOP to build up its pre-loved inventory, as guests will be asked to bring along their second-hand unwanted Topshop items in exchange for a goodie bag as shown. So the next slide will be a continuation of the marketing strategy, and it will show a TikTok video of the journey of a product throughout its SWOPSHOP journey. And this is called the Where To Next campaign. So I'll play it and then provide further explanation. So there we just have a bit of a sneak preview to the Where To Next campaign. And this aims to promote SWOPSHOP through community marketing, prompting customer conversation and engagement. And the aim is that customers will recreate this video with their own items by buying and tagging the sellers so that they can see the journey of their own products as they go through the cycle. So I chose TikTok as the platform for this marketing campaign due to its worldwide growth, and the influencer value is colossal. As you can see from the graph, TikTok was launched in 2017 and it's already gained 524 million users, closely following by Instagram. The potential for it to generate micro-influencers has already been snapped up by brands such as Calvin Klein and FIFA that have done marketing campaigns via this channel. So I guess the question on all your minds is, how is this concept financially viable? And as you can see, SWOPSHOP works through a recyclable revenue process. So we've briefly touched upon a customer will make their initial purchase, resell it, and all of the credit will go onto the SWOPSHOP card, which means they have to use this in store on repeat purchasing. And we hope that they'll make more purchases with a higher basket value, which increases customer retention. And we'll be able to track this with financial indicators, as codes will be flagged up either on till points or online to show that these are repeat purchases from SWOPSHOP credit. And then as a secondary revenue scheme, we'll have dead stock resale, which is when stock reaches the end of its retail life, it will be uploaded onto SWOPSHOP instead of being stuck onto a jumbled sale rail. SWOPSHOP's growth is projected over a 3-year period, as you can see from each, and the key performance indicators will show where we see SWOPSHOP across this timeline. So as the brand launches, we focus on brand recognition and customer acquisition, and we aim that Topshop will generate at least 10,000 members within the first month of its launch. And this is important because Topshop has such a great following in the industry. It's currently got 10.3 million followers on Instagram. So I feel that 10,000 members is a reachable sum for SWOPSHOP members. A year into the launch, we can see that Topshop will have its in-store presence, increasing daily traffic by 25%. By the end of the year, it also seeks to extend its demographic to top man customers by increasing membership by 500k and also making the brand more inclusive. In 2 years, Topshop will have decreased its overall garment production by ensuring that products are in the SWOPSHOP cycle, and this will allow them to improve upon their not good enough rating in the ethical fashion report. And finally, in 3 years, SWOPSHOP will undergo a European expansion, where 1 in every 10 sales is shipped outside of the UK. So as shown from the critical path, each of these milestones is marked out month by month. And these goals were set using the SMART targets terminology to make sure they're reliable, accessible, and time-bound. So as an evaluation point, a risk assessment was really important to carry out. And I did this using Ansoff's matrix. So one of the key fears would be, are customers going to think twice about buying second-hand items as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak? And to combat this issue, we'll introduce a quarantine period for clothing to ensure it's safe for resale. Another risk is, are customers really ready for this new way of life? And we'll have to ensure that marketing is very targeted and clear to communicate to customers the benefits of this new way of purchasing. In terms of market penetration, is this business model financially viable? And once SWOPSHOP has overcome its startup costs and begins to generate profit, the credit scheme will ensure that all revenue remains within the brand and is a consistent turnover. And finally, what if the supply of inventory is low? And to combat this, in-store incentives will be brought in place to motivate customers to bring in their pre-loved items. And this will be by offering discounts and promotions as and when required. And finally, in evaluation, we know that the resale market was already positioned and expected to grow. And amid worldwide lockdowns, an economic slowdown, and consumer change in habits, it's become an even more appealing option to not only customers, but to business owners. So SWOPSHOP's value proposition meets the customer's pains by providing a reputable and trustworthy platform where customers gain quality and fairly priced Topshop products. Topshop will also gain from this idea financially, as the extension will generate a consistent turnover while ultimately improving the brand's environmental impact. Thank you for listening, and I'll look forward to any questions. Here you can just see my pestle analysis in full and references, image bibliography. Yeah, thank you.